Welcome back. Now, there is some division among some South Africans regarding 23-year-old Chidimma Adetshina's potential participation in Miss SA pageant. Patriotic Alliance, that's a political party that says they're pursuing legal action to investigate the matter. This may include seeking an interdict to prevent her participation. The party's primary concern is to establish whether Chidimma is a South African citizen. Patriotic Alliance Deputy President Kenny Kunene joins us now. We'll also bring in the Vets SRC President Bukisa Boniswa, who is a member of the EFF. Kenny, let's start with you. Thank you for making time for us this evening. Why are you concerned about the participation of Chidimma Adetshina as a contestant?
Thank you very much, Clement, for having us. Number one, we always said that we need to put South Africans first. Miss South Africa is clearly definitive of who must participate. It must be South Africans. Miss South Africa is an ambassador of South Africa. Wherever she goes, even when she wins Miss South Africa, she then has to go and compete as Miss Universe or Miss World. So it's a pride. It's a patriotic ambassadorship that she holds. She's the face of South Africa. So how do you then have a Nigerian being the face of South Africa? So as the PA, our position has always been clear that South Africa must not lose its identity. South Africans must not lose their identity. Mm-hmm. And that which must be contested, or that which must be made up of the character of South Africans, must be for South Africans. This lady is not a South African. Okay.
How do we know that? How have you satisfied yourself with that as the Patriotic Alliance? Because you're saying it as fact.
Number one, her father is not a South African. There is a contestation of whether her mother is a South African or not. She has not come out publicly to state a case. But there's a video that went out, Clement, where she was amongst Nigerians celebrating her as for participating in a Miss South Africa. So how do you have Nigerians celebrating a contestant in a Miss South Africa? So that video makes it clear where her allegiance lie. Her allegiance lie with Nigerians, not South Africans.
I'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get.
And one would say she's got a South African ID. There's many fraudulent South African IDs.
Yeah, but we still don't know that, though. I mean, unless you know for a fact.
I'm not saying her ID is fraudulent, but I'm saying just because she has a South African ID, we can't now say she's a South African. We must investigate that ID.
But the problem, though, is
how she got that ID.
The challenge here, though, Kenny, is that you are saying it as fact that she is not, right? When you haven't gotten the evidence, at least from the Home Affairs Department, that she isn't. And I hear what your concerns you say. But have you heard from the Home Affairs Department, for instance, to tell you about her parents?
Her full names are Nigerian. 1, 2, she posted a video, or a video was posted of her being celebrated by Nigerians, not South Africans. So which means, even when she has if that ID is legitimate, her allegiance is with Nigerians.
Well, you don't know if she also celebrated with other South Africans, and maybe that video is not there.
We still have to test the legitimacy and the validity of that ID.
So Ms. SA says it's done all the necessary checks. In fact, they've come out to indicate that we due diligence to verify the status of all contestants as Ms. SA. The applicant must be a South African citizen and in possession of a valid South African ID document or passport. If the applicant holds dual citizenship, they provide us with the details of both. All documentation that was provided by all the entrants, including this lady, has been screened and has been vetted. Are you suggesting that Miss SA is not telling us the truth?
Who runs Miss SA? Do you know? Who runs Miss SA? Do you know the vetting process that they're going through? Are they going through intelligence? Are they going through home affairs? We can't trust a private company that seeks to make profit, that they have vetted this person. We can't trust that. We want a very transparent vetting process, and that is why, as the PA we are saying, we are considering going to court. And if this woman is indeed a South African legitimately, then the court must pronounce on that. But again, here is a video, Clement, and you can't say a video is not legitimate. No.
But that video doesn't prove anything. I mean, she could have celebrated with other people as well. You just have seen a video where she celebrates with her family.
The video proves her allegiance.
How?
That's what it is.
If her father is Nigerian and some uncles were there to celebrate with her, how does that prove that she's not South African?
It's a problem. It's a problem because an ambassador of South Africa must be a South African.
Let's bring in now Bonisa, who is with the Economic Freedom Fighters, Bukisa Boniswa, who's the SRC president at Wits. Thank you so much for making time for us. You've heard what Kenny Kunene has had to say. Bukisa, why do you believe, as the Economic Freedom Fighters, that there are people who are being Afrophobic here with their attacks on this young lady?
Good evening to yourself and your viewers. I think, well, first, you can just tell with just generally how different people are treated by the Patriotic Alliance. So, for instance, a few days ago, you had a gold medalist in the Olympics, right? And the pre-assumption is that if you the Olympics, you right? And the Patriotic Alliance, I don't even think it was himself as that particular lady has parents that are not from South Africa. So does that then mean that she's also not South African? So then it brings into the question of, is it really that they're really concerned about people that are not South Africans, or they're purely concerned about Black people living in South Africa, people that they think are not South Africans? And then this then begs the question, is it then a genuine cause that they're fighting for, or is it possibly their own self-hatred because they can't stand to have other Black people coexisting with them? And it's just an effect of they just want to be assimilated and in close proximity of whiteness. That's how I'm diagnosing this particular situation. Because if Kenny Kunene were really a cause, they would have investigated that even to find out, is this person competing in the Olympics actually South African? In fact, what they did is that they went out on Twitter, they celebrated her, she's called the Golden Girl. However, when you then have a Black South African woman trying to compete for Miss South Africa, then she's put into question. I think that is very, firstly, racist, and it's very misogynistic, because you wouldn't then look at, for instance, in the rugby national team, previously, we had Beast, and Beast is of Zimbabwean ancestry. He has family that comes from Zimbabwe and all of that. However, he wasn't put into question. He wasn't questioned about his nationality. He wasn't questioned about his ability to perform. He wasn't questioned about his ability of if he is South African or not. But then you see a Black woman and you then decide, well, let's scrutinize her, let's question her. Is she South African? Is she eligible to contest? And I think that's deeply misogynistic, that's deeply racist. And I think Kenny Kunene and the minister should really confront the big question at hand, which is the question of self-hatred.
Kenny, can you respond to that there? Why are you not questioning other people whose parents were not born in South Africa? There are many people who are even in politics who are first-generation South Africans. Helen Zilla's parents are not from here. Natasha Mazzoni. There are many people you can mention in the arts, in soccer, in politics, people who have represented government, but they are South Africans. Have you provided a similar scrutiny on them as well?
Let's deal with this one first. Her father said that she is Nigerian. Her father. Her mother has not appeared. We are being told of her mother who has not appeared. Her father said he came to SA for the first time in 2010. So let us talk facts. Your father is saying my daughter is Nigerian. And when now you are coming here saying, no, she is South African. So you see the problem with especially the EFF, their politics are not based on principle. Their politics are based on who is the highest bidder and who pays more. Our politics are about principle. The name of our party explains what we stand for. We put this country and its citizens first. And we'll defend that at all times, at all costs.
I hear that, Kenny, but you also have a responsibility as a party to also base things on fact. I mean, I know the clip you're talking about of the father. Just 1 second, I'll give you a chance. I know the clip you're talking about of a father. You're saying the father says. There's a clip that's doing rounds on social media. How have you verified that that is in fact the father who is speaking there? Have you verified that?
She has not assisted us by coming out and saying that is not my father.
Oh, but that doesn't mean you can use that clip as fact.
Her silence is giving weight to what is being said. But that is why, as the peer, we are saying we are considering approaching the courts so that we can be able to compel her and everybody else to give proper clarity and factual information about who she is, who her father is, who her mother is, and whether she's a South African.
But in the meantime,
why we want to approach the courts. Because
in the meantime, you're using stuff that you are finding on social media as truth. You want to go to the court to get facts. But in the meantime,
so what must we use?
Approach the courts. Call the Minister of Home Affairs. The Minister of Home Affairs says you can write to me to request information if it's in the public interest. You can go to court. But what you have done as the Patriotic Alliance is you are taking stuff that is being posted on social media and treating it as fact instead of as a responsible party going to court or writing to the Home Affairs Department and then come back and say, now these are the facts. And based on these facts, this is a position that the party holds.
Clement, you did not read our statement.
I read it.
Our statement is giving background. We have noted with concern what is being said on social media. And based on that, the lady has not come out to respond to these. And now we are considering legal processes so that we can be able to be given factual information. We are even considering interdicting her from participating. Okay. We did not give a conclusive statement there. Our press, our media release is very clear.
Well, when we started this interview,
you can't ignore social media today, Clement. You can't ignore social media today.
No. You have a responsibility, Kenny. I will disagree with you there. I'm not saying you should ignore social media. I'm saying you can't just take anything else that's posted there and assume it as truth. For you to come on this platform and say this girl is Nigerian, when in fact, when you look at our constitution and the Department of Home Affairs has clarified this, they've said, yes, not everybody, hold on 1 second, and I want to bring in Bookies. I'll give you a chance, Kenny. Not everybody born in South Africa qualifies for citizenship. One of your parents, one has to be a South African or an SA permanent residency permit holder. He says, no one, this is what Njabulo Nzunza, the Deputy Minister of Home Affairs, says. No one so far has written to Home Affairs to ask about the parents of this young lady. Bukisa, let me give you a chance to come in here. Does it help that government is also quiet here? I mean, I know some of them are saying, yeah, we just watching the situation. But while this continues, this young lady is facing this vitriol and this attack, when government could come out and say, this is what we've been able to determine, and that takes her out of the misery. But they've gone to ground.
I think it's very important because it is a very controversial issue on social media. And I think that she's just facing a lot of victimization on the internet, that it doesn't really make sense why she has to go through all of that. And I think that Kenny Kunene and Gaten McKenzie are also judging victims on social media, how our parents are. They believe everything on social media. Because the girl has come out and said that it is not her father. And yet, you have Gaten and Kenny Kunene here on this platform lying on a public platform with no facts, with no references, with nothing to back up what they are saying. And yet, even the government in itself and the Department of Home Affairs is also not coming out. And this also just speaks to how generally Black women in this country are treated. That you will heckle you on social media and no one will come to your rescue, even when you're in the right. So I think possibly Kenny Kunene and Gaten McKenzie should possibly invest in the art of academic research and the art of actually going out and confirming if what you are speaking about is in fact factual. And I think in this case, it's not factual. And quite frankly, they wasted South Africans' time with the lies, and he continues to lie on a public platform because the girl has denounced that video of being of a father. And also the speculations he's making about someone celebrating. Just because you are South African living in South Africa doesn't mean that the only people you interact with are South African. And that's a reality that Gaten and Kenny Kunene need to come to terms with. You have people that are South African citizens that are not from South Africa, that are not born here. And it's our responsibility to make sure that we coexist with these people. And unfortunately, you have the likes of Gaten and of Kenny that don't want to realize that. However, what they want to do is that they want to just assimilate and have proximity to whiteness. And that's why you don't have them calling into question the likes of the lady who competed in the Olympics and won a gold medal, the likes of other people that are in government, a DA MP, as we sitting, you and me right now, a member of your GNU, is not a natural born South African. And yet, you did not put that into question. So please stop coming on public platforms, lying to South Africans and inciting hatred.
Kenny, let me you can come in now, Kenny, and also respond to that question of, have you asked people like Abo Natasha Mazoni, Abo Helen Zille, have you said to them, but your parents are not South African, we need to check the legitimacy of your IDs. Have you put scrutiny on other people other than Black Africans who are born in this country, but our parents are coming from other countries?
Clement, there's many Africans who are in this country that we interact with without a problem. But let's go back to the facts. The father says he came here in 2010, which means...
you don't know if that's the father, Kenny. We've just established that you don't know that as a fact.
Let me finish. If he came here in 2010, it means this girl is supposed to be 14 years old now.
But Kenny, we're going to waste time talking about someone. You haven't verified that, and I think that's quite irresponsible to take anything that is put up on Twitter. So what I'm saying to you is, how about you as the PA, go verify that and then make a position on it. But it's quite reckless and irresponsible to take...
But Clement, that's what I said to you. I said our statement is clear. It gives background to what has happened. And our statement is saying we are now looking at legal avenues.
Then say that. Now you're contradicting your statement.
No. Clement, to force this situation so that clarity can come out. But also, we are considering interdicting this girl from participating. Because Clement, the fact of the matter is, this woman, this girl, is a Nigerian girl.
How do you know that,
That one
Kenny?
we cannot argue about.
No. How do you know how our constitution? I've just read to you what even the Department of Home Affairs says on their website. So if you have parents that are not born in South Africa, they've got citizenship. You are born in South Africa. You even turn 18. You've got an ID. You are South Africans. That's a simple information that is available on government website. When you are saying now this girl is not South African, that's an irresponsible statement to make, unless you are telling me that Home Affairs has told you that her parents don't have the right papers to be here. They don't have citizenship. And you and I here don't have that information.
Two things. You have not verified whether she is a South African either. Let's start there. Number two, Clement. The court has said, if your mother and father are not South Africans, you can't automatically be a South African. Now, the mother has not come out. The only person that claims to be the father has confirmed that she is a Nigerian.
Claims.
There's no mother.
So it's now someone who claims to be a father.
Verify, yet you are bringing me to this interview without having verified facts yourself.
I have actually, I've gone to look at what the Constitution says, and I've looked at it versus... What must I tell you about? Stuff that people are putting up on Twitter.
No, we are verifying. We are verifying her status as a South African or not.
Yeah, until you verify that.
You must verify.
Then until you verify that, don't come as Bukisa.
We are saying as PA, we want to take this matter to court.
Absolutely.
We have instructed our legal team. We want the court to force her and everybody else to come out clear as to whether she's a South African or not.
Yes, and you've got every right to do that. I mean, that's in fact what...
And the other option is to interdict her from participating, because there is nothing at this point in time that gives us confidence that she is indeed a South African. We want South African surnames there. You want South Africans to contest Miss South Africa.
Wait, does Natasha, is Mazzoni a South African? Whoa, is Banzoni?
We want what?
Mazzoni, is that a South African surname?
You are not asking me about Miss South Africa. We are talking about Miss South Africa.
Yeah, I'm trying to expose that you lack, but you are lacking consistency. But you are wait, Kenny.
No, don't be driven by the agenda of the EFF.
Oh, I'm not.
Let us deal with the case in point.
Yeah, let me come in, Kenny.
Case in point is
okay, Bukisa. Let me bring in here. I mean, Mazzoni is not even a South African name, but if you are African from Nigeria for some reason, you must have a South African name. That just exposes your lack of consistency. Bukisa, what kind of support is being... I'll give you a chance, Kenny. We need to give Bukisa an opportunity here to speak as well. Bukisa, please can you come in here and tell us what kind of support are you providing for Chidimma? Because on social media, this is what's happening. Even though Ms. SA has come and said, we have verified, you've indicated that maybe government needs to come out. Bukisa, what kind of support are you providing?
That's a private company.
Okay,
they've got interest.
Yeah, can you give Bukisa an opportunity to speak?
Don't tell me about people who have got vested interest, who are protecting themselves. We are talking here about proper verification, and we are going to court. Clement, by the way, we are going to interdict this process. She must not participate. We want South Africans to participate as Miss South Africa. That is a patriotic ambassadorship.
Okay, got it. Kenny, thank you. Bukisa, you can come in.
Thank you very much.
I really wish that Kenny was as this passionate when it comes to issues of women representation and gender-based violence in this country. But don't. However, with regards to the support that the EFF would be providing, if they are going to court, we will meet them at court, and that interjects as well as it pass at all. And
the EFF is a foreign organization anyway.
Kenny, you're being very unfair now. I've given you a chance. Please, can you give Bukisa an opportunity to finish your point?
That interdict is not going anywhere, and this just exposes how the lack of respect that this man has for Black women. Because
no, you are no. You see, Clement.
Kenny,
And I was-
please, this is a conversation.
You
Wait.
are biased.
Let her finish her point.
What has verifying the credentials of a woman and the validity of a status in this country has got to do with respect for women?
All right, Kenny.
What has that got to do with respect for women?
All right, Kenny, clearly you...
Right now, when I gave you a platform to speak,
Yeah.
I gave you a platform to speak. I will speak. Chin, as we were saying, that interdict of theirs is not going to go anywhere, and she is going to compete in Miss SA. In fact, we are going to support her to a point where she makes it to the finals and potentially she wins Miss SA, because she's a rightful candidate to compete in Miss SA, and Miss SA has proven that she is a South African citizen. They have done their checks and balances. And yet you have people that are deeply misogynistic and deeply racist and have hatred for themselves. That will platforms like this, and they will try to make sure that Black women like herself don't succeed. And the EF is 100% behind her, and she will win Miss SA. All
right, Bukiswa Boniswa and Kenny Kunene, I appreciate both of your time this evening on Face the Nation. And thanks to you for watching the Thursday edition of Face the Nation.